is back on the front burner.
Achieving universal health coverage by 2030. President Tinubu unveils new investment initiative. 2024 appropriation, more MDAs defend estimates.
Total allocation is 9,654,327,604.
INEC's chairman makes resident electoral commissioners ahead of release of timetable for rescheduled and by-elections. Good evening and welcome to the Network News at 9 on NTA. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Hingino John Adams joins us from the Center of Excellence, Lagos. Don't forget to follow this newscast live on our website, nta.ng/live, NTA News Now on X, as well as other social handles displayed on the screen. Healthcare delivery in Nigeria is set to witness a new momentum for transformation as the national and subnational governments have expressed new commitment for proper investments required in the sector. At the unveiling of the Nigeria Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative in Abuja, President Bola Tinubu affirmed that under his administration, healthcare delivery is back on the front burner. State House correspondent Musbah Danwahab reports.
It's Universal Health Coverage Day, and the advocates are here to raise their voices for the equitable health coverage which puts women, children, adolescents, and the most vulnerable first. That is because they face the most significant barriers to essential care. In Nigeria, this year's commemoration under the theme Health for All, Time for Action brings the current administration opportunity to commit to what global best practices demand and the yearnings of Nigerians, as well as the urgency required.
I believe that good population health is both a cause as well as a consequence of economic development. I also know that by increasing investment in health, Nigeria will be accelerating its human capital accumulation and development, likely to enhance our productivity for current and future generations. Health is back on the front burner.
President Tinubu pointed out that the improved budgetary allocation coming for the health sector in 2024 underscores his administration's political will and readiness to ensure the improved investments and reduce financial burden on Nigerians.
Recognizing the importance of primary health care as the cornerstone of a resilient, integrated healthcare system, my administration is embarking on massive effort from 2024 to refurb physical infrastructure, equipment, and retraining of frontline health workers in collaboration with all the 36 states.
As it appears, the commemoration comes with a special package for Nigerians with the introduction of the Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative, which promises to be a game changer with hope for improved infrastructure and qualified workforce necessary for quality health services.
We call on all state governments and the FCT to complement the efforts of the federal government in the following specific policy actions: to increase their budgetary allocations and timely release of funds for primary healthcare services, immunization, family planning, and public health, and to make those allocations and releases public.
A testament to our dedication to transformative reforms in the health sector.
Development partners promise more support for the sector, and the hope becomes bigger as the state governments affirmed to pull their weight and replicate the initiative at the grassroots.
I reaffirm the commitment of the Governors Forum and remain steadfast in its dedication to make universal health coverage a reality for every Nigerian.
They put it in writing for posterity and Nigerians to be assured of a great change to come in the healthcare delivery. From the State House, Musbau Dan Wahab, NTA News.
Now to the green economy. In an opposite editorial for multinational news channel CNN, President Bola Tinubu says African countries, including Nigeria, need partnerships for a new green economy, emphasizing that efforts against climate change will only be successful through a cooperative approach. The president says security threats, dislocation of people, environmental atrophy, and other collateral impacts of climate change were at the forefront as Nigeria has battled major obstacles, including the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, short-term challenges from economic reforms, and the ongoing unification of foreign exchange rates. It said the nation remains steadfast in its resolve to reconstruct a better, cleaner economy. Despite these challenges, the president said Nigeria is aggressively pursuing the exploitation of the nation's abundant wind and solar resources, adding that transitioning from fossil fuels, which are Nigeria's economic mainstay, will not be easy. We now seek to mobilize private capital with support from initiatives like the Climate Finance Leadership Initiative and the new US and EU global infrastructure programs, the president said. In a bid to ensure better service delivery in line with the renewed hope agenda of the Tinubu administration, the National Council on Privatization has set up and had a committee to fast-track the reconstructing and resuscitation of the Bank of Agriculture. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who chaired the maiden meeting of the reconstituted council, emphasized the importance of the task before the new council, particularly the rejuvenation of other sectors. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
Composition of the ad hoc committee is to be chaired by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, with the restructuring of the Bank of Agriculture top on the agenda. Vice President Kashim Shettima urged the committee to come up with a roadmap for the resuscitation of the Bank of Agriculture, among other resolutions. The council also approved the completion of the concession of the 700 megawatts Zungeru hydroelectric power plant, and particularly directed the opening of a dedicated account at the Debt Management Office for the payment of the concession fees by the concessionaire. The Vice President also directed the Central Bank Governor to commence the opening of accounts at the Debt Management Office as proposed by the Bureau of Public Enterprises.
The Council must meet as regularly as possible so that where we need to reform institutions, we do so with dispatch. Where we need to sell them or concession them or put them in arrangements that will bring more value to Nigerians, also that will be done with dispatch so that the assets are put to better use, incomes and employment are generated from them, and national prosperity is enhanced.
Another major decision taken at the meeting was the ratification of the constituted standing committees for the Council, comprising technical, stakeholders engagement, finance and legal committees. Also approved at the maiden National Council on Privatization meeting was the 2024 work plan of the Bureau of Public Enterprises, covering its privatization activities and participation in international forums to attract interest in the country's privatization program. From the State House, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
Now shift attention to budget defense as part of efforts towards a holistic national reorientation project. The Ministry of Information and National Orientation is set to launch a national and international rebranding Nigeria campaign. While defending the ministry's 2024 budget before the Senate Committee on Information, the Minister Mohammed Idris promised to match his words with actions. Salihu Gwanara reports.
As the custodian and image maker of the renewed hope government, the minister has since commenced the advocacy explaining the planned policies to Nigerians at every event, alluding that the desired successes can only be achieved through deliberate determination by all to key into the planned rebirth of national values and reorientation.
For overhead, this is for Ministry of Information and National Orientation, 3,892,306,596,000. For capital, it's just 1,492,000,000 14,842,876. Now, total allocation is 9,654,327,604.
All agencies under the ministry, the minister says, will be transformed to sustain and improve on their mandate.
There is some kind of distrust that has brewed in the public communication system in this country. And it is the desire of the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation to rebuild that. Trust has to come back to public information. And therefore, when we want trust to come back, public information managers must be trained and must be prepared in a way and fashion that they can put out the best information in the best format so that Nigeria can consume what is necessary and leave out issues of fake news and all sorts of things.
And if we are talking about renewed hope agenda that will work, information should be at the forefront. Just like you rightly said, it's going to be the image tech. We want to drive the policies of the government and sensitize the public. There's widening gap between the people and the government, and information has to bridge this gap.
The lawmakers assured legislative support to enable the ministry review and renew national values for a better Nigeria. From the National Assembly, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
Funding of the Nigerian Television Authority should be a national priority, without which it cannot operate optimally as the leading public broadcaster in a competitive environment. This is coming from the Senate Committee on Information and National Orientation as it scrutinizes the 2024 budget of the NTA. Ignatius Onkwo brings us details.
The 2024 budget scrutiny continued at the Senate Committee on Information and National Orientation. The Director General of NTA, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, accompanied by other management staff, was clear on the 2024 financial proposal of 15.1 billion naira.
With the allocations we have had, especially in the preceding year and of course in 2024, I think it's far, far below what is expected. Because of the changes in technology, vis-a-vis the new demands from the general public, and the issues of security and all what have you.
Comparison between NTA and other media stations will always come up, but the Director General took time to explain to the committee the mandate and peculiarity of NTA as a government-owned media outfit.
So the cost of operation, vis-a-vis the number of staff and requirements differ from the private media organizations that we tend to make comparison with. We also have the mandate to serve the public. And I can, without any music words, tell the honorable distinguished members of this committee that it is very difficult sometimes to even convince those in government as to why they should pay for services being rendered by the Nigerian Television Authority. Or they will tell you that all belongs to the federal government.
The need for more funding for NTA was evident before the committee. Committee members advised the management to insist on payment for services rendered.
Or whatever program you're handling, whether government or private, when you say, this is our fee, you go there and deliver. If they pay, you move. If they don't pay, you stay back.
You must be able to tell government, if you don't give me money, this is the level of service you will get. Otherwise, they will not take us serious.
What are you looking at? What do you want? The tomorrow of NTA, how do you want it to be like? Come with a proposal, we are ready to back you.
As part of measures to increase its internally generated revenue, the Parliamentary Committee urged government to mandate ministries, departments and agencies of government to place all commercials on NTA before considering other media organizations. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Onkwo, NTA News.
You're watching the network news on NTA. Time to take some messages. The news continues shortly.
ON, Anambra South Senatorial District.
Thanks for staying with us. Senate reconvenes plenary after 1 week break for engagements with ministries, departments and agencies on the 2024 proposed appropriation. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, brought to the notice of lawmakers two communications from President Bola Tinubu seeking confirmation of some appointees.
I am pleased
the request communicated in separate letters seeks confirmation of appointments of 3 executive commissioners of the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission and 19 commissioners of the National Population Commission. Senate during plenary confirms the appointments of Desmond Akau as member representing Rivers State in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Senate adopted a motion pledging the donation of 1 month's salary of each of the 109 senators to survivors and families of victims of Tudunbiri drone misfire.
The Senate delegation, led by the Deputy Senate President, pledged our December salaries to support the survivors who are still struggling in the hospitals for their lives. Can you say aye? Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. May I invite my colleagues to rise for us to observe 1 minute silence in honor of the departed brothers and sisters who lost their lives to the drone attack.
Plenary has been adjourned to Tuesday, 20th December 2023. This is to enable committees conclude budget defense sittings. Tuesday's budget defense featured the appearance of the Chief of Naval Staff before the Senate Committee on Navy. He solicits for more funding to improve efficiency.
We're able to execute our role in terms of arrest of criminals in the maritime environment. Basically, it's one of the roles of the Nigerian Navy, which many people are not aware, and this is what makes our demand even higher.
Your capital request was about $200 million. What you have ended up with is just about $30 billion. So these are challenges, clearly.
The Minister of Trade and Investment, while defending the ministry's spending plans for 2024 before the Senate, says a rebranding campaign tagged Make It in Nigeria is underway to sell and attract investment for Nigeria.
We want to invite foreign organizations to build their factories here and to reduce our reliance on imports. But the only way we can do this is by ensuring that our local workforce is also skill ready.
We are going to do everything within our powers to cooperate, to collaborate, to be sure that Nigerian people are served.
The ministry is proposing 8.1 billion naira for capital expenditure and targets 2.5 billion naira revenue in 2024. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
To electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, will soon release the timetable and schedule of activities for the rerun elections, which will be combined with by-elections in constituencies where vacancies have been declared by presiding officers of legislative houses following the death or resignation of 7 members of the National and State Assemblies. Chairman of the Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, disclosed this in Abuja while swearing in new resident electoral commissioners to fill vacancies in 9 states of the Federation. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Please, can we rise?
This is the first time INEC is combining its regular meeting with the resident electoral commissioners' regs and the swearing in of new regs to fill vacancies in 9 states of the Federation. It is also the last meeting for the year 2023. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu reminded the new regs that the conduct of elections is not only a huge responsibility, but also a sacred duty.
There can be no excuses for failing to hit the ground running and for making a huge difference to the quality and transparency of elections.
We are conscious of the enormous responsibility of a resident electoral commissioner in the electoral process in a diverse and complex country like ours.
9 out of the 10 regs screened and confirmed by the National Assembly were sworn in at this ceremony. The 10th REC designate will be sworn in next month on the expiry of the tenure of the REC representing Akwa Ibom State, currently deployed to Delta State. Among the 9 new RECs, 4 have been career officers of the INEC, rising to the rank of directors. Meanwhile, INEC has assured citizens in 6 other constituencies that it is liaising with the national and state assemblies for the declaration of vacancies so that by-elections can be conducted in earnest. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
In other news, the attention of the Secretary to the government of the Federation has been drawn to the purported fake appointments by unscrupulous elements to swindle unsuspecting individuals. The SGF describes as false the information circulating on the social media, text messages and other outlets, urging members of the public to submit their CVs at a fee to a non-existent desk at the office of the SGF to facilitate their selection for various federal government's appointments. At a statement by Head of Information Office of the SGF indicates that the culprit has been using the name of the former Director Information, Willie Bassi, among others, to defraud unsuspecting Nigerians. The general public is by this notice advised to be wary of the perpetrators of the dubious acts and disregard such information being peddled around. Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Senator Heineken Lokobori, is optimistic that Nigeria will meet and surpass the 2024 crude oil budget benchmark of 1.7 million barrels per day. Lydia Sampson brings us details.
At a stakeholders' interactive session on creating value and enabling investment in Nigeria's oil and gas sector, Heineken Lokobiri was emphatic that the country has the capacity to increase crude oil production to 2 million barrels per day. The Minister of State Petroleum Resources Oil committed to fostering collaborations with stakeholders to enhance the country's oil and gas sector towards deepening ambitious target for the year 2024. The minister says success of the upstream sector will have ripple effect on the success of the midstream and the downstream.
And you can't be talking about oil in Africa without talking about Nigeria. And I know that we have capacity to be able to produce what is needed, not only to meet the OPEC quota that will satisfy Abuja, but also to provide what is needed to satisfy the needs of what is refinery. And so our target for 2024, is to ensure that we work with stakeholders to ensure that we ramp up production.
The minister outlined the trajectory of sector growth since the current administration took office, recalling that crude oil production started at about 1 million barrels per day and steadily increasing to 1.4 million barrels per day. He reassured stakeholders that government is working diligently to address the challenges facing the sector and is committed to providing the best playing field for both international oil companies and independents to make the necessary investment. The minister also highlighted ongoing efforts to rehabilitate refineries and ensure the functionality of the modular refineries to enhance the country's refining capacity, meet local, regional demands, and thrived internationally. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu will commence his medical leave on Wednesday, December 13th. 2023 as a follow-up to his medical treatment. A statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor says during the leave, Governor Akeredolu will prioritize his health and ensure full recovery before resuming his official duties. A formal letter regarding the medical leave and a notice formally transferring power in line with the Nigerian Constitution will be transmitted to the State House of Assembly. The statement adds that in the absence of the Governor, his deputy, Loki, will assume the responsibilities of the acting capacity. In the acting capacity, Governor Akeredolu expresses his gratitude for the support and affection of the people of Ondo State and assures them that his administration remains committed to the path of progress and prosperity of the people. In a bid to consolidate on the gains recorded by reconstruction, rehabilitation and recovery agenda of his administration since its inception in 2020, Governor Hope Uzodinma has presented the 2024 Imo State Appropriation Bill of 592.2 billion naira tagged Budget of Renewed Hope to the State House of Assembly. Kingsley Ononu has details.
Addressing members of the 10th Imo State House of Assembly before laying at the floor of the House the budget proposal for the state 2024 fiscal year, Governor Hope Uzodinma says if passed into law, the appropriation bill will enable his second-term administration to continue with infrastructural development, urban renewal programs, improved generation of internal revenues, human capital development, robust agricultural programs, as well as provision of adequate security architecture for the protection of lives and property, among other people-oriented projects initiated and executed during his first term in office.
In the next 4 years, I'll stop at nothing to ensure that I will actualize the new Imo of our dream, where prosperity, job opportunities, and peace shall reign. I expect that the ongoing creation of Oguta Lake or rush to the Atlantic Ocean will materialize within this period, and I know it will come with abundant opportunities for job creation and economic growth.
Out of the 592.2 billion naira budget proposal, recurrent expenditure will go 100.9 billion naira, while capital expenditure will have a share of 491.2 billion naira in the next year, Imo State fiscal year. In Owerri, Kingsley Ononu, NTA News.
Let's take a pause here in Abuja. So let's head to Lagos, where Hingino is standing by with some reports for us. Hingino, nice to see you.
Thank you, Lizzie. The Nigerian police is repositioning to enable the force carries out its statutory mandate in a more modern and proactive manner to demonstrate its readiness to be responsive and technologically driven while building efficiency in the force. This formed discussions at the Renewed Hope Police Agenda Town Hall engagement organized by the Ministry of Police Affairs. Lynn Leneke reports that the event attracted stakeholders from the security sector.
With over 200 million Nigerians, effective policing to safeguard them requires concerted efforts of all and sundry. This informed the convergence of stakeholders to the maiden Citizens Town Hall engagement on strengthening police in Nigeria. Minister of State Police Affairs, Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, reiterated the resolve of the police authority to adopt community policing as a panacea for change, which requires the collaboration of key stakeholders within the Nigerian police ecosystem.
What we'd like to do is not to replace, but to strengthen the community policing strategy already existing. We'd like to improve professionalism and accountability within our force with a focus on ethical conduct. We would like to be more transparent and adhere to human rights standards.
The Inspector General of Police and Lagos State Governor, recognizing that security is inherent locally with the full participation of members of various communities while maintaining public safety and upholding the rule of law.
The security architecture and the operations, I believe must be state of the art. Technology is a strong component these days, and we must indeed be able to invest in it.
The Town Hall Security Meeting will aid us in leveraging on community policing principles and practices towards building trust and partnership that will strengthen our policing strategies in a manner that will guarantee a safer Nigeria.
The town hall meeting provided a platform for direct engagement to foster a transparent dialogue in community policing strategy. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
The Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board will make use of necessary mechanisms to sustain the increase of Nigerian content in the oil and gas sector. This was revealed at the capacity building workshop organized by the board for media stakeholders. Bolaji Akim completes the report.
Before the establishment of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, the country's oil and gas sector was dominated by foreign players. The narrative, however, changed in 2010 with the passage of Nigerian Oil and Gas Content Development Act 2010, which empowers the NCDMB to develop and monitor Nigerian content in the oil industry. This increased participation of indigenous players in the sector and created more job opportunities.
Between 2010 and this year, we have moved Nigerian content performance from less than 5% to 54%.
There are some reports that oil companies are supposed to send to us. So what we do is we look at those reports, and from there we get data with regards to how many projects are they currently doing, how much are they spending on the project, and then we aggregate this cost to see the portion of this that is awarded to Nigerian companies, and it is based on that we compute and arrive at our Nigerian content levels.
With steady growth in its 10 years development roadmap, the board is collaborating with the media to show the world its progress through this workshop with the theme Strategic Role of the Media in Sustaining Nigeria Content Legacies.
Updating the media on the activities of NCDMB, the values they bring to the table, the vision they have for the country, and of actually what are the milestones they have crossed and what have been delivered across time.
The analysis they gave us, I think they have made a lot of progress. They have made tremendous progress in their decision to make Nigeria a better place in terms of retaining foreign exchange.
The workshop also exposed media practitioners to various technologies that will help them in stepping up their reportage skills. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
That's it from here. Business News will be back with Benny Adams in Abuja after the break.
Good to know you're still here, and it's that time we talk business. Nigeria's revenue performance is said to be encouraging, going by increase in federally collected revenue between 2022 and 2023. Government is set to build on these successes by centralizing data. A one-day sensitization seminar on national vehicle registration aimed at stemming leakages and increasing government revenue is a starting point.
Some of the critical next steps include completion of technical integration with the Central Motor Registry, CMR, of the Nigerian Police Force and the National Vehicle Information System of FRSC, the Federal Road Safety Commission, as well as strengthening of the collaborative effort with the National Automated Development Council.
How all the agencies interconnected can share data, share information, and then who is good for it? The citizenry is good for it, because now the citizenry will now have access to data. We have to collaborate with each state of the federation, especially providing the best legal frameworks that will ensure that vehicular data in the state of the federation are well harmonized.
And still talking about data from the United States Embassy in Nigeria shows that more than 115,000 Nigerians, including 30,000 students, applied for visas to the United States of America. While a similar scenario is playing out in other countries, stakeholders in the skills sector say equipping Nigerians to be fit for employment anywhere in the world is the way to go.
I'm not actually against the so-called jackpot, but jackpot with strength, jackpot with quality, jackpot with high skill. That's what we want, such that, there is one good thing about Nigerians. No matter where we are, outside, we are always the best. We want to be good. We want to upskill our artisans so that they will be good. And when they are going out, we'll be proud of them. And the dollars will keep rolling in. And that's one thing Nigerians do. Anywhere they are, they keep sending the dollars home. We want to upskill our artisans. We want to organize that sector. We want to bring that sector closer to the government, such that if they are here, they set up on their own international standard. If they are in international companies, international standard. If they go out of the country, people will say, wow, where is this guy from? Are you getting it now? That's what we are trying to do.
And a quick look at the markets. At the end of trading today, Nigerian equities appreciated by 0.33%. A total of 319.5 million traded shares and 6,498 deals corresponding to a market value of 5.877 billion naira were traded. Today's data shows 15% decline in volume, 53% improvement in turnover, but 7% decline in deals. The current market capitalization is 39.4 trillion naira. Julius Baja, Nigeria, recorded the highest volume of 42.5 million traded shares, followed by Zenith Bank, 23 million, and FCMB Group, 22.9 million. That is business news. Network news continues, but after this break.
Glad to know you're still there. Concerned players in the education sector are advocating increased budgetary allocation for the sector. This was when members of the National Association of Nigerian Northern Students presented an award of excellence to the head of Department of Public and International Law, now University Abuja, Dr. Sirajo Yakubu. Olayin Kaujo reports that the award was based on Dr. Sirajo's contributions to youth development and the growth of the education sector in Nigeria.
Review people performances in their field of endeavor. So we come across him, we notice what he has been doing over the years, particularly here at the Nile University, as well as the way he served as a kind of crusader for justice, and the way he has become a source of inspiration to the young people out there, not only students here in the university.
Sirajo encouraged them to shun all forms of social vices and fashion better ways of contributing to nation building.
We must take education seriously. Even though now that the universities are becoming autonomous, still, government must fund research, government must fund infrastructure, especially through the TED Fund. TED Fund should be strengthened to provide more infrastructure.
I feel very excited. I feel very motivated. He's somebody that impacts. He's somebody that is very sound when it comes to knowledge of law, with particular to what he teaches us.
He implores them to be peaceful and always work for the unity of Nigeria. In furtherance of its mandate, the National Orientation Agency has developed a project plan tagged Clean to improve attitudinal change among citizens and to push the country towards achieving national objectives in line with the Renewed Hope mantra. Osman Zuberi reports that this came to the fore at a two-day stakeholders and partners retreat on re-engineering programs for more effective reorientation.
The stakeholders retreat by the NOAA on the CLAIM project is the first step in a wide range of strategies for developing new approach efficient system citizen-based plan for engaging with people and tackling various issues affecting the country.
At this retreat, we will be discussing our new strategic approach, which is called CLEAN. CLEAN encapsulates our various activities and engagement with the various government institutions, development partners, civil society organizations, and the 3 tiers of government.
DG Noah Lanre Issa says the CLAIM project refers to the broad areas of crime, health and hygiene, environment, education, abuse, and narcotics. He said these thematic areas requires partnership and participation of stakeholders to deliver the desired result.
To take it to the citizen and for them to take ownership, so that in all our areas of interaction, in schools, formal education, informal and vocational education, this is embedded into our system.
Ensure that citizens trust their leaders. If we are able to do this, I think we'll be on the right path.
In Abuja, Usman Zuberi, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu congratulates Nigeria's Super Eagles forward Victor Osimhen on winning the CAF 2023 Men's Player of the Year award. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, the President also celebrates the remarkable achievements of Asisat Oshoala of Nigeria's Super Falcons, who clinched the 2023 Falcon Women's Player of the Year for the 6th time, and Chiamaka Nadozie, who was awarded the Goalkeeper of the Year, as well as the Super Falcons for emerging Women's National Team of the Year. The President commends the trio for their outstanding performances on both national and international stages and for being sources of pride to the nation and an aspiration to aspiring footballers across the continent.